Hi everybody, it's Diana with StampingWithDie.com, and I am here with this week's Mimeograph Monday. And I had so much fun last week using the January to June mini catalog that I'm going to use it again this week. Now we're going to play with Pretty Perennials, and it's such an amazing set. It has a matching die. So I have my recipe, my stamp set, my inks, my ribbon. So I think we're all ready to go. So let's get started.
Pretty Perennials is such a pretty set, and I just gravitated to this card right here. So that's the one that we're going to do today. Now what we're going to be using is obviously the Pretty Perennial stamp set. Now it does have a perennial petals matching die, but we're not going to be using that today. But if you don't have the set, you might want to get the bundle so that you do have it for future cards. I'm also going to be using the painted labels on the card as well. Okay, so let me get my pieces here. So what we are using, and I always have the little recipe, and it explains what we need, and it definitely helps me figure out, because sometimes when you look at the catalog, it can be, you can go, where in the heck did that come from? So we are using basic white thick for the card base. So I'll just get that scored and set aside. And then we are going to stamp our main piece of cardstock, and it's just, I just used basic white regular. It's not the thick because it's just going to be the layering piece. It doesn't need to stand up like the card base would. All right, so let's get started. We are using Melon Mambo, Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight, Coastal Cabana, Pear Pizzazz, Old Olive, and Memento Tuxedo Black. So there's so many colors going on. Now this is a photopolymer stamp set, so I'm just using my little mouse pad. If as demonstrators, we can get the little mouse pad. If you are not a demonstrator, you can order the foam pad to use, because sometimes you want to have a little bit of gushiness for the photopolymer, because you're not like a rubber or a cling where it has that little bit of cushioning which allows it to kind of squish into the paper. The photopolymer doesn't have that, so this just kind of gives you that's almost like you do have that. So if you have an issue stamping with your photopolymer, give that a try. So I do have a little piece of grid sheet just so that I don't get any ink on my little mouse pad, because I'm going to be stamping off of the cardstock. All right, so let's get started. I try not to say that. Every week I go, don't say that all the time, and then I do say it. So I'm going to kind of be building. I have ink pads open up all over my desk. It's kind of a little crazy, but in order to get them in the placement, and because I'm using a small piece of paper, I'm going to kind of build as I go so I don't get any bare spots or like a big white area. So hopefully my arm, it's right there in front of you, so I apologize. All right. So that's what I'm going to do. And so I have all my ink pads open with the little, here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So I have this ink pad is open and it has a little stamp with it, so then I don't by accident stamp in the wrong color. So, all right, so this is just Pear Pizzazz and Pear Pizzazz. So what's good about having this little grid sheet, I can spin my card around as well. And then Old Olive is what's going over top of the Pear Pizzazz. Now, if you didn't have a Pear Pizzazz or you didn't have an Old Olive, you could simply stamp off with the Pear Pizzazz, and then the next time when you go over with the lines, just go solid, and then you would get two variations. But I'm going like the catalog set. All right, so then we have this little blue berry image here. And it's going to be using the Memento. So I do have that one closed. I need to open it up since it has its removable lid. All right, so then we are just going to stamp the little stems or whatever, and I'm trying to do it without getting my head in the way of the camera. So if I do, I apologize. All right. Then we're going to continue. So I'm going to spin. So remember I said I wanted to spin. So I'm going to turn this a little bit. So I want to get one of my Mango Melody right here. And right here. And right here. So I know where these need to go. All right. So now I can fill that in. So we have our little yellow. She's going to go down here. Then I have some more leaves. So I have some leaves here in the Pear Pizzazz. I also have, here is a leaf, and here is a leaf. So now I can go and put the lines. So this is just to show you doing the card as it was in the catalog. Now, if you were going to do a bunch of these cards, I would totally do a whole sheet of paper and then trim it down. And I'll show you what I mean when I get a little further. Okay, so I also want this blue guy here. And it's actually Coastal Cabana, not blue. And here. And then I'll put its little sticks again. So this is not my normal. I need to turn it so I can see it. I'm a big colorer, but you know what? Sometimes you just want to do some quick stamping. And this is definitely a fun card for that. All right. Oop, I was a little off there. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it too much. When you are stamping, you don't have a camera right in your way. Okay, so let's see here. So now we have coastal or crushed curry. So inside these little yellow flowers are these little crushed curry pieces. So that's there. Then we have this funny looking little alien splattery thing inside here, and that is the Memento. And it's kind of neat because you can see that white through it, so it gives you that highlight. This is such a cool set. It's got so many fun pieces that can be used so many other places. All right, so there we have, I believe that looks good. All right, so now let me show you what I mean before I close my pads. So we're going to take a little bit of a break from that card. So what I mean by, if you were going to do a whole bunch of these cards, I would do a whole sheet of paper. So this is just a whole piece of cardstock. And what I would do is I would start building. Now I don't have my sheet underneath it, but so I'm going to start building. Now I would go all the way around, but I don't want to get ink on my table, so I'm just focusing on the center. Oops, and I got my arm on it. So we're just going to ignore that. But I just kind of want to show you. So this is basically called a one sheet wonder. And you are filling up this whole sheet of cardstock. So you would keep going. Fill it all in. You would put all your little, trying to find some of my pieces here. You would just keep stamping this whole sheet, and you would want to fill them in close. You wouldn't want to have like too many spaces. So, so you'd want to come in here and, you know, and you don't have to use the little black stick. This looks cute just as a, like almost like a little berry amongst the flowers. So you wouldn't have to use the little stick. And then look, that even covered up that little boo-boo. But we would fill up this whole piece of paper, the whole piece of paper. Then you would cut it down to the size you need, and you could make a whole bunch of cards out of it. So that's kind of what I meant about, like here I'm just doing the one, so I kind of was more intricate where I was putting my placement, so I didn't have the holes. Where with this one, you would, you know, stamp them really, really close together, because when you would cut, you might have like a bare spot here, right? So you'd want to fill it in as good as you can. Okay, so let's go back to the card. All right, I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to close these pads because I am done with these, and I am afraid of getting my fingers in them. All right. So give me a minute while I close the pads. I have my timer going, so I don't mess up and don't run out of time. I swear, as soon as I mention it, the camera goes, "Oh, did you say time?" And then it turns off. All right. But before I close my old olive, what I do want to do is I have my old olive pad, and I have a lot of ink on the lid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my aqua painter, and I'm going to give it a squeeze, and it's going to push some water out, and it's going to put water in the lid. Okay, so I'm getting this a lot of ink on it. Then I'm going to take something to smack it on, you know. So I'm just going to use my bone folder. You could use the lid, whatever. And we're just going to slap, smack, smack, smack. And what this does, it is splattering that old olive flecks everywhere. And then I need to set this, hang on a minute. Got to get one of these. All right, so this is what I have. You know me and my fingernails. I do my fingernails. These are just cotton rounds, and I just keep them at my desk, not only for my do-it-yourself manicures, but they also keep your brush clean. So what I'll do is I'll squeeze in between. It squeezes out any ink that might be inside here, and then you're ready to go. Now, the tip may stain. You can see this one's kind of got a blue tint to it, but as long as there's just water coming out of it, you're good. All right? All right, so let me put that over there so I don't lose track of it. Close this. So now you can see that this card has all these little flecks. Can you see that? The little flecks of old olive. So it just makes it not to be such a pristine white card. So let's get our card put together. So we have this. Now again, just like last week, when I'm looking at the card in the catalog, it looks like they have the ribbon probably going on the inside of the card. Now that being said, the cards in the catalog could very well just be a card front. It might not even open up. So there really isn't ribbon on the inside of the card. But I want to make it as it is. So I trimmed my piece down. When you look at the one in the catalog, it looks like it is stamped directly on the card. But I'm trimming mine down a little bit, and we are going to put our ribbon on this. Let me cut my ribbon. So I'm just going to do my ever popular cheater bow or fake bow, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to take a glue dot on each end. And this is that gorgeous sheer ribbon. It ties so beautifully. And I'm going to put it on here. So now you have that ribbon going clear across. It's hard to see, but it is there. Then we're going to put it on the card. And I'm just using glue dots just to have there be a tiny little bit of like a shadow. When you put this on, it's pulled away from the card just a little bit. It's important to do that if you have ribbon Because even if it's the sheer ribbon, it's still ribbon in between the cardstock touching the other cardstock. So the glue dots give that little bit of height so that this cardstock will touch this cardstock in order to adhere it really good. All right, so that's going to go on here. All right, then we have, so this is our little die and our little piece of Melon Mambo. So I'm just going to stick those together. And looking in the catalog, you know, I'm glad that it said the color, because I would have thought that this was Magenta Madness. It looks so brighter, but it's just different. Like even when I look on the camera, it looks brighter than in real life. So, but I bet you the Magenta Madness would look amazing as well. All right, so then we're going to put this on the card with some dimensionals. So it pops off there. That way it also will straddle that ribbon. So peel all my little backs off. So this is going to straddle that ribbon there, like that. Then we're going to take our ribbon, and it's going to go up underneath here, and I'm going to tie it in a bow. So I'm going to give myself, now you should just tie it off the spool, but I just want to go faster, so I'm kind of wasting ribbon. But I'm saving time for the video. All right, so then we're going to tie this. So it looks like, see how beautiful that sheer ribbon ties? Oh, I love it. And it keeps the tie, like it grasps. It's got some texture to it. So it holds that tie beautifully. Okay, so then we're just going to trim our tails like that. And now we have our beautiful ribbon off to the side. Then we have our greeting. Now what I did was I stamped happy ahead of time with the whatchamacallit. See, now I've got Magenta Madness in my head with the Melon Mambo, and then I'm just going to cut it out. And it's pretty easy to cut out. I did stamp on the regular basic white, so it's a little easier to cut out than the thick. I mean, you can cut the thick out, I'm not saying you can't, but it's just a little thinner, so it cuts a little faster. So you want nice sharp scissors. Go around that corner. Let me just go whoosh, and get rid of that excess. And then continue. I do wish there was a die for the letters. That would have been cool. But we can't have a die for everything. But we can surely wish, right? We can surely wish there was. All right, around, almost done. Now you want to make sure, I have almost, with this greeting, put it upside down several times, because you have to look at it very carefully. There it says happy, but if you look quickly at this, in your mind saying it should say happy, it kind of almost does look like happy. Like this looks like another H. So just make sure that you're looking at it really carefully before you put it on there. Okay, so you make me, I stamped ahead of time with the Craft Whisper White ink. Now the recipe tells you to use Versamark, but I just as soon use the Craft, then I can see the ink, and then I used my white embossing powder, and then I heat set it. So I did that ahead of time just to save some time. So we've got our little You Make Me. So I'm going to put that on with some glue dots. So You Make Me, get off of there, and don't stick to the ribbon. All right, so You Make Me, and I just use glue dot. You could use dimensionals if you wanted to sit higher, but I am going to use dimensionals for my happy. And I'm just using the baby ones. Let me scoot in a little bit. Oops, wrong way, wrong way. So I'm just using the little baby ones. They're perfect for the letters. And you can also, on the side, take your scissors and just cut up a little bit off the edge. And it gives you a tiny, skinny little one. And then I'm just going to peel the back off of it. And I'm going to put that on my pea. And I'm just going to trim it. So can you see what I'm doing? I'm putting it on the other pea. And I'm trimming it. So now those letters will have a little bit of dimensional on them. So I did the same thing. I trimmed a little bit off the dimensional. And I'm going to put a little bit here. And that's just going to steady that word or that skinny letter right there. And then on here. So just snip your dimensional to the size that you need it. Okay, so now we can peel off all these little pieces. I'm looking at my timer. Oh my gosh, I have to go fast. Oh my gosh. Now I'm gonna panic. I'm panicking. I'm panicking. All right, peel these off. Like that. Oh my gosh, Diana. All right, and then we're gonna stick it on the card. And I gotta make sure it says happy, not upside down happy. So that's gonna go, you make me happy. Oh my gosh, isn't that the cutest card? So here's the one I was looking at ahead of time. So you can see they're very, very similar. You can see that. But so fun. So I want you to let me know if there's anything in particular you want me to show on my Mimeograph Monday so I can do it. And this one just gives you that Hawaiian feel, right? All right, so don't forget, today is the last day to sign up for my Kangaroo and Company bundle class in the mail. So do not forget to sign up for that. Okay, so here we go. I gotta get it all edited and uploaded, and have a great week. We will see you tomorrow, Tuesday, at 3 o'clock Arizona time for my Teach Me Tuesdays video. All right, have a great day. Bye.